I think especially as Aboriginal artists, our truth is what makes us who we are in our culture and our spirituality. And that truth resonates into the community.
Mob or Jarjum, that's tomorrow's children, because all we do is for them, really. And if they can get these words, get the pronunciation of it correct, they can then start using it in daily life, and they do.
It's relationships between mothers and fathers, between parents and children, between children and their grandparents. It's that deterioration of that family relationship and connection.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people can now stand with huge humility and be very proud of who we are and what we are, and the way in which we have survived.
Hey, and welcome to Beyond the Boundary Road. I'm Fred Leone.
And I'm Mandanara Bales. On this episode, we'll be having an exclusive talk about Stylin'UP. Our guest today is a talented artist and proud representative of this organisation.
Damien Bani is here to tell us a bit about his story. Also, he's going to be telling us a bit about music and how it's evolving in Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities. Damien will also talk about the evolution of Stylin'UP, and welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
No worries. First of all, Barney, where do you come from and where did you grow up?
Yeah, my people, we're from Torres Strait, island called Mabiog, which is a western island. Where it's situated on the Western Islands, population of 200, and my tribe is Wagadagam. And I've also grew up in a suburb called Inala, which is in the southwest of Brisbane.
Yeah. So you're working on Stylin'UP. Can you tell us a little bit about Stylin'UP, how it started, where it all began?
Yeah, Stylin'UP, I guess it started back in year 2001 with an organisation called ASHRA, which was a community organisation, non-profit organisation. The community members and the staff from the organisation, in partnership with Brisbane City Council, came together and sort of tried to create a music festival for the community to be involved in.
I see it's a very positive event where a lot of Aboriginal people come together, and probably one of the biggest events here in southeast Queensland. What's your connection to the event?
Yeah, just going back on the first one, I started as a performer with the group Indigenous Intruders. We performed there back in 2001, and we had, thinking back, we had a heavy metal group called Nocturnal from Northern Territory, who headlined the first one. And with that, the first one, it was more just trying to, suss out and just see, what's the sort of local talent out in Brisbane who'd perform on the day. So we had, Nocturnal, which was a heavy metal group. I remember having like a real techno dance crew, country western singers, and we had ourselves, just fresh from high school, who did the hip hop and R&B stuff. And I guess we were sort of like a highlight of that day, just for the community to witness, young fellas who caught the eye of, not just young people but elders, in the community, telling their story. And that's when they sort of had an idea of trying to create that festival as a youth festival.
I remember being at the festival when Shakaya were the headliners.
Yeah.
And I think more people were screaming and cheering for Indigenous Intruders than Shakaya, and here these fellas are signed up with Sony.
Yeah.
Jay West, you had the beatboxer Joel Turner.
Yeah.
But you fellas got more of a cheer and probably more of a crowd than those big...
and people singing along with all the songs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it must have been deadly,
Yeah, no, it was a great feeling, and it was always an exciting time, Stylin'UP. Around that time it was like Christmas in Inala. Everyone, spoke about it. A couple of months prior to it, that March-April period was like, oh yeah, Stylin'UP's coming up. I wonder who's going to headline it. And when Shakaya was, really big at the time, and they were Indigenous, and it was sort of, a group that was doing, good things, and it was empowering, young women out there too. And it was good to see, sister girls, there was more performers now, more singers and more rappers that was coming up,
With the community coming together, because there is a lot of Pacific Islanders and Africans in Inala. So to see the whole community come together on that one day, regardless of your race, must be a really deadly feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say this time again, like music, you know, speaks all languages and breaks all barriers, and like you see, like, you know, different cultures coming together and just sharing music, and you know, especially you know, seeing you know, people they see, you know, on an everyday basis. Like, you know, Inala's that community where, you know, you can go to the shopping centre and yeah, you buy your bread and milk, but you'll be, you know, up there for about an hour just buying bread and milk and talking and yarning. So, you know, that's the community spirit we have, and like to see, you know, seeing, you know, that community member on a different level, like in performing or dancing, it just takes that sort of relationship and the friendship that you have with that community member to another level.
What is the impact of hip hop and R&B on Indigenous youth in terms of identity and culture? Can you see there's over the last 10 years, because you guys have been rapping for a while now, and have you noticed in that time it's shaped the cultural identity of younger people?
Yeah, definitely. You know, hip hop as like, you know, as a culture, you know, it's all about, you know, telling a story, you know, and how they, you know, the struggle and that. And I think now, you know, with a lot of kids, or you know, a lot of people who are, a lot of young people who are, you know, doing hip hop, are using hip hop as a tool to tell their story, you know, and use it as a, you know, a way of, you know, creating their cultural awareness, and also, you know, telling them, you know, who their mob, where they're from. Yeah. One thing I liked about it in the early mid-90s was, and probably even the same still today, don't need any cash. Somebody can just beatbox, and you sit there and you rattle off all your raps. Yeah, so it didn't cost any money, so it was easy to get into, just like writing poetry. Yeah, definitely.
You know, speaking about Stylin'UP, the local government have partnered up with the Inala community. Do you see this going on for years to come? Are they supporting it? Is it, you know, going to happen for the next 5-10 years and keep on going and getting bigger?
Hopefully. You know, I guess it's been going for 13 years strong now, so I can't see it sort of disappearing at any time. But you know, it's just, you know, the strong people, you know, behind the scenes too, and like, you know, people like such as Fred too. You know, he's been there as a performer, and you look at the people who've been there since day one. That's what makes you, I guess, you know, want to be more attached to that, you know, program and that success. So I don't think it'd go anywhere.
And it's very inspiring to see that the young fellas, you know, especially in Inala, to be a part of it, to be part of these workshops they run at the schools, then perform in front of the community, and come back maybe next year and actually be on staff, you know, and learning behind the scenes and stuff. So it's a great event, and something really positive for the community.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's a big launch pad too for young black fellas to go from workshopping a rap to then performing it. Suddenly, next minute, there's 1,000 people sitting down watching you in the afternoon.
Even
you know,
10,000.
like
I think they got 10,000 people through the door.
Yeah.
So it is. It's an amazing event, and it's so deadly to see. You know, it's a drug and alcohol free event.
Yes.
You know, so that's really deadly, showing the young fellas it's not a part of our culture. And secondly, just seeing everyone getting along and being there. And being one mob for the day.
And I think that's the key thing there. Like, you know, it's a drug and free alcohol event. It's a free event, and like we touched on before, you know, you have you know, different cultures coming together, and you know, they get to sort of, you know, be introduced to Indigenous culture. You know, because we do have Indigenous, you know, Aboriginal dancing and Torres Strait Islander dancing. So, you know, those different cultures.
Get to see a bit of our culture as well as being there for the hip hop and R&B.
Yeah. Mixed in with hip hop. So that's.
When the workshops are there, how did the community find out that workshops are happening?
I think 12 weeks prior to the event, BTBR-Se Council will you know, talk with community, and they'll have, you know, their meetings and find out who are the, you know, facilitators, you know, all the arts workers, who's going to be involved in that. So I think it's with the arts workers, you know, they find a way of how to promote it. So it's more just us going to the schools, you know, talking to the principal, letting them know that, you know, letting them know it's this time again, and go from there.
Excellent. Well, Barney, thank you so much for coming onto the show today and sharing your story as well as the deadly event Stylin'UP, which is on every year.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.